Okay, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to you Akim out there that's been pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. This will be a Great Millstone quick lesson. What we have here is a transition of power because Esau, the so-called white man, is losing his power. His empire is crumbling. The infrastructure of America is crumbling. The economy is damn near ready to collapse. There's no jobs. Pestilence is running rampant. Uproars of the people throughout America, but you don't hear about it. You got protests in Texas about lockdowns, and you have people lining up to receive food from these food banks because they can't feed their family, so they need some kind of subsistence to feed their family. All these things is coming to pass, man. So we know we're at the end of Esau's rulership. And the Lord, and that's it has been prophesied, man. Because the Lord says he's going to take that cup of trembling out of the hand of the sons of Israel, man, and put it into the hands of Esau and the rest of the nations, man. And they're going to drink of that cup. See, what's happening now is a transition of power, man. Because, like it states in 2nd Ezra 6, 7 through 9, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is that which followeth, man. So we are approaching the end of Esau's rulership. His empire is crumbling. And what's happening is the Most High is raising Jacob, the elect of Jacob, the governing body, the 144,000, that's the aristocrats that's fit to rule with Yahweh Shai. Because Yahweh Shai, this is Yahweh Shai's kingdom. So the 144,000, which are the aristocrats, the 144,000, which are the aristocrats that's fit to rule with Yahweh Shai, the governing body, the Lord is turning his kingdom over, transitioning of power, over from Esau to Jacob, man. And that's prophecy. So this is going to be a great millstone, quick lesson. Apparatus how you Akim out there will be edified. And this is Isaiah, the 51st chapter, the 22nd verse. Thus saith thy power, but thus saith thy Lord, the Lord and thy power. Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, the Lord and thy power, that pleadeth the cause of his people. Now that word plead means to strive to conduct a case, to make a complaint, to quarrel. So the Most High is arguing with these other nations over the things that they have done to his people, which is Israel, man, the sons of Israel. And it reads, Behold, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling. Now that cup represents servitude, slavery, being under the bottom, man, serving our enemies. Now that cup is being taken out of our hand and is given into the hand of Esau and other nations. Esau being the so-called white man and the other nations, man, because they're going to drink of that cup, man. It says, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling. The cup of trembling, being shook, not having a sound mind. When you get in your car, you got to worry about being stopped by police and getting in some shit with these crackers. That's a part of the trembling, man. Living in America, that's a part of that trembling, man. It says, even the dregs. Now, we drunk the dregs of that, man. Look at the transatlantic slave trade, man. Hey, Jake went through some horrific shit, man. Alligator bait, the devil's punch bowl, Derby's dose. a trail of tears. Yo, man, we went through so much, man, with these devils, man. And you think they're going to escape unpunished? They themselves are going to drink of that cup of slavery. They themselves are going to drink of that cup of servitude, that cup of trembling. And they're going to drink even the dregs, like we have drunken the dregs of it, man. It says, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. The Lord's fury is slavery, concentration camps. Ultimately, slavery, concentration camps, famine, pestilence, uproars of the people, and ultimately thermonuclear destruction. That's the cup of the Lord's fury, man. And Esau is going to drink of that shit. They're going to drink it down. Just like we have drunken the cup of the Lord's fury, man. It says, thou shalt no more drink it again. Say, hey, man, we're approaching a time where the elect is going to be delivered out of this shithole that they call America, which is Babylon spiritually, Egypt spiritually, and Sodom and Gomorrah spiritually. And we're going to be joint heirs with Yahweh. It's like we're going to be joint heirs with Yahweh Shah, man, in the kingdom. And we no longer going to drink of that cup of slavery, man. We're not going to drink that cup again, man. Why? Because where there's no sin, there's no death, man. The Lord is going to program us. The Lord is going to program us not to go off again, man. Where there's no sin, there's no death, man. So we no longer going to drink of that cup of slavery, that cup of trembling. We no longer going to be servitude under these different nations, man, these heathen nations, man. We're going to rule over them, being joint heirs with Yahweh Shah. It says, verse 23, but I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee. We'll read it again. Isaiah, the 51st chapter, the 23rd verse. But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee. Who have afflicted us? Esau. Started with Esau and the rest of the nations, man. To prove that, you go to Psalm, the 83rd chapter, man. It links up perfectly, man. Who are the enemies of the Lord and the enemies of the sons of Israel? And those nations that's mentioned in Psalms, the 83rd chapter, the first verse on down, have afflicted the sons of Israel. And they're going to pay for that, man. No one escapes unpunished, man. Judgment is coming for them. No one escapes unpunished, man. It says, but I will put it into the hands of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. Because Jacob's at the bottom, man. All these nations is having their way with us, man. All these nations are having their way with us, and they are afflicting us, and they are taking advantage, man. Jacob's at the bottom. All these nations is walking over us, man. It says, I'm gonna read it again from the top. Isaiah chapter 51 verse 23. But I will put it into the hand of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over. All these nations had their hand in afflicting us, man. And thou hast said thy body, and thou hast laid thy body as the ground and as the street to them that went over. Because all these nations are walking over us, from Esau, which is the so-called white man, these Arabs, Ishmael, which is the so-called Arabs, Moab, which is the so-called Chinese, Ammon, which is the so-called Japanese, Ham, which are the so-called Africans. All these nations have had their hand in afflicting us, and all these nations are going to pay for what they have done to the sons of Israel. It's just that simple, man. Judgment is coming. Judgment is coming. And there's no escaping the judgment of the Lord Yahweh, why Yahweh Shah. So Esau, enjoy yourselves. Pursuant to Lamentations 4 and 21. Enjoy yourselves, because we're approaching the end of your rulership. And with that, I'm going to say Shalom. about Babon, death and destruction to these Edomites and the rest of the nations. Shalom.